The Democratic Republic is the world's largest producer of cobalt and Africa's largest producer of copper, but a number of issues beset the industry. This heavy load of copper cathodes has been secured on the OWO semi-trailer and is ready to travel 2,000 kilometers or so from the mines in Haut-Katanga, eastern DRC, to the port of Dar es Salaam, from where the cargo will be shipped to Asia. The cathodes are firmly attached in bundles, each weighing 2.3 tons. Since leaving Lubumbashi, I have spent 2 hours in traffic jams just to get to the Kanyanka toll. I don't even know when I'll pass the toll, maybe tonight or tomorrow, and there are always hassles during the document check. Nobody knows if the problem comes from the controllers or from other state services. Upstream of the Kanyanka toll booth, halfway between Lubumbashi and the border, more than 200 semi-trailers are at a standstill waiting to complete the mandatory formalities. There are 6 toll booths in 400 kilometers of this strategic route. When leaving the DRC, I have to pay $200 at the parking lot, $50 for the visa, $300 at the toll, and I have to pay the same on the way back. The Upper Katanga Transporters Guild is calling for patrols to deter criminals, as well as for the number of toll booths to be halved, for prices to be capped according to the distance to be covered, and harmonized between the DRC and neighboring Zambia. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has called on the international community to lift sanctions against Zimbabwe. Mr. Kenyatta was speaking outside the State House in Nairobi Wednesday in the presence of his Zimbabwean counterpart Emerson Mnangagwa. Sanctions were imposed in 2003 by the US, UK and other Western nations in response to human rights abuses and alleged election rigging during the rule of Robert Mugabe.
Here in Nairobi, to continue with our support of Zimbabwe against the illegal sanctions that have been imposed on that country and continue to cause undue problems, issues, and trouble for the people of Zimbabwe. And this we consider to be unfair, for these hardships are artificially created, and we continue to call on the international community to remove these illegal sanctions.
I thank Kenya for this support and solidarity for Zimbabwe in the call for the unconditional removal of unilateral sanctions that were imposed on Zimbabwe.
The two heads of state also led their respective delegations in bilateral talks. During the talks, the two countries signed bilateral agreements which include a memorandum of understanding on political and diplomatic consultations, tourism, and wildlife conservation. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta calls for international sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe to be lifted.
A contingent of 250 Ukrainian peacekeepers are to leave eastern DRC and return to Ukraine. The announcement was made on Tuesday by the United Nations. A date is yet to be announced for the departure. The withdrawal will also include equipment and helicopters. If they're leaving to strengthen forces at home because things have heated up lately, I must say that it is not a problem at all. They can leave to find a solution at home because it's not important to be with us in the DRC while things are burning at home. We will continue to pray for them for this war to end, because everything that has a beginning has an end. We don't want this war to persist, even if at home in the DRC the war continues, but we don't want that. With the help of God, this war will end. Goma is in the eastern part of DRC and has been plagued by violence from dozens of armed groups for more than 20 years.
A total of 79 Zambians who fled the war in Ukraine have been safely evacuated and returned home. They were welcomed at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka on Tuesday evening. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Stanley Kakubo, and Minister of Information and Media, Chushi Kasanda, were on hand to receive them.
In a war, things are complicated, fragile, situation can change at any moment, but we kept going, and thank you to all the Zambians that have been able to pray with the parents, with the communities, with government, and prayer has seen us through. And the first group of Zambians is here, but until we get all of them, this situation is not yet behind.
For the survivors, the majority of whom were students, the war and the evacuation process have left their mark.
Honestly speaking, it was quite terrifying, traumatizing. We might be physically okay at the moment, but then mentally, I don't think we are fit.
I left Ukraine through the Hungarian border. Initially, I tried to leave through the Polish border, but it was too hectic and we had a lot of people there. So I decided to use the Hungarian border, which was much quicker.
About 95 nationals, mostly students, were expected to return to Zambia, but 16 of them chose to stay in Poland.